Okay, so here is the video for day 3, arms and shoulders for the month of May. We are going to start with our shoulders. We have 3 exercises. This is again eccentric tempo for the shoulders, biceps, and triceps. You're going to do each exercise as a circuit, exercise 1, 2, and 3, and you're going to do the circuit 3 times. So we're going to start with the supine front raise. We're going to use L2 and R2. So you're going to lie down on the floor. Your feet go on the footrest. Exhale as you pull the cables overhead. 3 seconds on the way down. 1 second on the way up. And you're going to continue that for 30 seconds. Pull your belly button nice and tight to the floor so your back is flat. Exercise number 2 we've done before. It's a leaning one-arm lateral raise. So they're going to put their feet all the way up against the rig. They're going to hold on to the rectangular part. The arm that's holding is as straight as possible. We're going to get a bigger range of motion by starting at the opposite hip. Exhale as you reach or pull the handle all the way to your shoulder. 1 second up, 3 seconds on the way in. Big exhale up, 3 seconds on the way in. They will switch sides, do the same thing on the other side. And then the last one, so this cable will already have been at the top for setup. They're going to have to throw that cable up to the top after exercise 2. We're going to cross our hands, and we have a high reverse fly. Cross your hands, exhale as you open. 3 seconds on the way in. Your hands stay in line with shoulders. It's not down here. 3 seconds in, big exhale up, squeeze those shoulder blades nice and tight. So we have the supine front shoulder raise, we have the leaning one-arm lateral raise, and then we have the high reverse fly. As soon as they're done exercise number 3, they'll drop that cable on the left side to the bottom, so it'll be set up for round number 2 for the leaning one-arm lateral raise. After you complete that whole circuit 3 times, you're gonna switch to biceps. So we're gonna put the rope on the right side and take it all the way to the bottom. Again, 3 exercises, 3 rounds. Exercise number 1 is our hammer curl. Tuck those elbows nice and tight, stand close to the rig. Big exhale up, 3 seconds on the way down. Exhale up, 3 seconds on the way down. Exercise number 2 is a concentrated one-arm cable curl. So if you are facing the rig, your elbow is tucked and your arm is out at about 45. So you're going to grab the handle and curl. So just make sure that the client is positioned correctly so that they can angle that arm at 45 degrees. So the first one, if they're curling their right arm, they'll be kind of angled towards their S drive. When they're curling their left arm, they're going to be angled kind of towards their neighbor's S drive. Big exhale up, 3 seconds on the way down, 30 seconds per arm. And then the third exercise is a pronated reverse bicep curl with L2 and R2. So you'll grab those cables, tuck your elbows nice and tight into your rib cage, start at the bottom, big exhale up, 3 seconds on the way down. Okay? So we have the hammer curl, we have the one-arm concentrated bicep curl, and then we have the reverse curl with L2 and R2. And then circuit number 3 is for our triceps. This is a really good one. The rope's gonna go to the top, and the handle's gonna go to the top. Exercise number 1 is a tricep push-up. So we're gonna drop to the floor, hands under your shoulders, 3 seconds on the way down as the elbows go to the back, big exhale up. They absolutely can drop to their knees if they need to, but that eccentric tempo is on the way down. Tight core, tight glutes. Exercise number 2 is a one-arm tricep pull down. So they're gonna grab the cable, stand nice and close to the rig, tuck their elbow in, exhale as they pull down for 1 second, 3 seconds on the way up. If they can, try and get them to extend that arm to their hip. Rather than stopping in front of their hip, it's going to dig a little bit deeper into their tricep, 3 seconds on the way up. And then the last one is our rope overhead extension. Elbows are in line with your shoulders. Slight hinge, tuck your belly button, split stance. Exhale out, 3 seconds all the way in. 1 out, 3 seconds all the way in. So for that one, you have your tricep push-up, you have your one-arm tricep push-down, and then you have your overhead rope extension 3 times. So then that finishes out shoulders, buys, and tries. We're gonna move on to lower body, and it's a mini band circuit. So exercise number 1, we do it as a circuit 1, 2, and 3, 2 times. Number 1 is standing around the world, 30 seconds per leg. They can hold on to the rig if they want to. Standing legs nice and soft. They're gonna go front, side, back, side, front, slightly tapping, keeping good tension on that band the entire time, 30 seconds, and then they'll switch legs. They're not returning to the center. This makes it a little bit harder on those abductors, and they're gonna do that for 30 seconds. Then they can move the mini band anywhere between their knees and their ankles, and we are going to do a jumping jack into a squat. Jumping jack, squat, jumping jack, squat. Make sure that their legs are not super narrow as they try to squat, so when they jack out, pull their legs just a little bit wider than their hips, sink into a squat. 30 seconds for that one. And then the last one is our frog glute bridges. The mini band is around our knees. We're gonna lie on the floor, soles of your feet together, press those knees out and down. Exhale as you lift your hips to the ceiling while you're pressing those knees apart. Yellow is obviously too easy for that, so I recommend they start maybe at green through green, blue, black, and then red. If they need to change the mini band for any of the exercises, that's fine. There's time built into the timer for that. So they do around the world, 30 seconds each side, jumping jacks to squat for 30 seconds, and then glute bridges with the frog for 30 seconds. They do that circuit 2 times, and then they're gonna take the mini band off, and we have a challenge for lower body. There's 2 exercises. Exercise number 1 is done for 30 seconds. They are going to get into a bear crawl position. They're going to hold, and then they're going to donkey kick, alternating legs, heel to ceiling, flex their toe high enough just to activate the glutes. Alternate that for 30 seconds without trying to drop their knees. If they can't hold the bear crawl, that's fine. They can stay in quadruped position and do donkey kicks. And then the second exercise is a side hip lift with a clamshell. And we're only doing 20 seconds per side here. So we're gonna start with our knees bent, our feet behind us. Stack your hips, stack your knees, stack your shoulders. You're gonna lift your hips and clamshell at the same time for 20 seconds on this side, and then they will roll over, elbow directly under your shoulder, feet behind you, stack your knees, stack your hips, clamshell as you hip lift. So knees open and hip lifts at the same time. You're gonna do that round 2 times. So bear curl hold with alternating donkey kick for 30, and then the side lying hip lift into a clamshell, 20 seconds each side. And then we just have one more upper body circuit. The rope is going to be at the bottom. And that's all that we need. So the first one is a curl to lift. So most of us are familiar to where we pull the cable to our shoulder and then lift. This one is a little more of a straight arm so that you can get a little bicep curl into a lift. So we are going to be split stance. The leg closest to the rig, which is next to the cable, is the leg that's back. So it's an open. You are going to keep your arms straight, curl to your shoulder, exhale as you lift, bring it back to your shoulder, and uncurl. So start on one hip, curl to the opposite shoulder, press overhead, back down to the opposite hip. Then you will turn around, same thing, other leg goes back, arms straight as you curl to your shoulder, press overhead, and back down. That's exercise number 1. Exercise number 2 is plank shoulder taps. So that's simple enough. Make sure that their hips don't rock, tight core, tight glutes. Alternate tapping your shoulder with the opposite hand. Nice and slow, none of this stuff. All right, force them to kind of use their core. The wider their feet, the more stable their hips will be in case they have a hip rock. And then the third exercise, I'm gonna give you two options for this. If you have wider hips, the cable kind of comes offline of the wheel, so you can use the band if needed, but it's a bent over kickback. So you won't really be able to see me if I grab the silver handles, but L2 and R2, you're gonna grab the handles, you're gonna hinge, start with your elbows at 90 degrees, exhale as you kick the cables back behind your hips, behind your butt, digging into those triceps. If that doesn't work for the client because the cable keeps coming off, that's fine. Just have them grab the band, same movement pattern, elbows at 90 degrees, exhale, and kick straight back. They want to keep those elbows tucked into their sides. So you have those three exercises for 30 seconds, and you're doing that last final circuit 3 times as well. Then you're going to move on to core. This core, 2 exercises. The first one's a circuit. We are in prone position, palm plank. So we're going to start with a walk up, 1 plank jack, 1 knee tuck, or 2 in, 2 out. 1 walk up, 1 plank jack, 1 tuck. If the jumping doesn't work for them, they can tap out and in, and then back. They're there for 45 seconds. And then exercise number 2 is a knee to toe reach. So we're starting in that star position that we did last month. I like to roll up onto my elbow. It digs a little bit deeper into my obliques, but I'm going to reach for my toe, reach for my knee, reach for my toe, and reach for my knee. 30 seconds on one side, and then you're gonna switch 30 seconds on the other. So at some point throughout the month, you're gonna do that circuit 3 times. You can start with 2 times, that's totally fine. Whatever works for your timing and your client group. And that's it.